Go Ireland AM. Now, festival season is in full swing, and if you are heading to Altogether now tomorrow, you'll be wanting to be fully prepared for a weekend of mud, music and probably mayhem.
Yeah, outdoors content creator Nollaig Butler joins us now with the ultimate festival camping checklist. Good morning to you, Nollaig.
Good morning, it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Okay, so where you are, an aficionado of the outdoors, where did your love first come from?
I suppose with anyone who's kind of really into the outdoors, it comes as a kid.
Yeah.
My parents realised very quickly when I was young that I wasn't going to be the sports star. I was not an athlete, so they said, right, what are we going to do with them? They put me into the Scouts, and I flourished there. I absolutely loved it, whether it was hiking in the rain, camping, wet, muddy. That's me. So I fostered a love for the outdoors there when I was young.
I'd say you tie a good knot, Nollaig, do you?
I tie a very good knot.
So you were one of the biggest outdoors content creators in Ireland. What inspired you to start sharing your tips and tricks for outdoor life for people?
I suppose it was I never made the decision. It just happened kind of organically. Like, I've always been in the outdoors, I've always enjoyed it. And I thought everyone else did as well. And growing up, when I went to college, when I started working, I was still doing all these things regardless of whether I was taking videos. But people kind of started paying interest, paying attention when I was in the workplace. They were like, oh, I saw you were up on a mountain the weekend. No, like you were hiking, you were climbing. I was like, yeah, that's just what I get up to. So the more people started kind of paying attention to it, the more I started sharing it. And it kind of evolved naturally into now what's kind of exploded into almost a platform for sharing tips and tricks about hiking and camping around Ireland.
And I feel like you're one of these people who feels like there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad gear. Would that be, is that kind of...
Yes, that is, I preach that to the heavens.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so
what are we in right now? Would this be considered...
This is festival attire. This is perfect hiking, muddy weather, festival attire, yeah.
In terms of, obviously, sleeping bag for camping, that's, people think tent, sleeping bag. Talk us through what you have in terms of the very basics for
camping.
You
made the classic mistake when camping is people think tent, brilliant. They think sleeping bag, brilliant. But the most important thing you can bring is your air mat.
The air mat?
The air mat that goes under you. That's not just for comfort, that's for warmth.
So is it like a mattress?
It's like a mattress, yeah, and it separates you from the ground. When you're camping, whether it's in a field at a festival or up at the top of the mountain, you lose most of your heat through the ground. So you want to make sure you separate yourself from the ground with good insulation, and that's what your air mat does.
Now, was that something you've had to inflate?
Yeah, so this is an inflatable air mattress. I've blown it up with my breath.
Okay. Just with your breath? Okay, so you're not bringing a pump or anything?
No, you're not carrying a pump, you're not carrying a huge mattress up to the top of the mountain. That rolls down really, really small. You put it underneath you, and it keeps you nice and warm.
Okay, and talk us through this sleeping bag you have and the little pillow as well.
Yeah, sleeping bag and pillow. This is what comes with me on every trip, whether I'm at a festival or whether I'm camping on a mountain. This is what I use.
That doesn't look that warm. That looks quite thin, I think.
That's the thing. This will keep me warm into -6, so it can be absolutely freezing overnight, and this will keep me warm. People think all sleeping bags are created equal. A sleeping bag is a sleeping bag, but you really need to make sure if you're buying a sleeping bag, whether it's for a festival or whether it's for camping, you need to make sure it has the comfort rating that what you want to use it for. So there's a huge difference between a summer sleeping bag and a winter sleeping bag.
It's like your Tog duvet.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly that.
I like the way you have a mattress. I went camping once and I just brought a yoga mat and it was the worst night's sleep of my life.
Well, great yoga in the morning. Sunrise yoga.
Should have seen my Denver
dog. The sunrise salute in the morning was beautiful, yeah.
Talk to us about the tent. So people are heading off to Altogether now. It starts tomorrow. What should they do before they head down?
Before you head down, don't let the festival field be the first time you see your tent outside of the bag. Likely for most people, the last time they pitched a tent was at the last festival. And if it was an EP that was raining or it was Altogether that was raining...
What do you mean if?
If it was. You might have maybe a bit of mould, mildew, dampness. You don't want to open your tent and find out it's full of holes, you've forgotten your pegs and you've forgotten your poles. That is catastrophic for a weekend. So you want to, maybe the day before your festival, whether it's tomorrow for Altogether now or ahead of EP, take your tent out, put it up in the garden like I've done here, make sure you've got your poles, make sure you've got your pegs, and make sure you're happy that this is going to keep you dry for 4 days in a field in Laois.
Okay, and speaking about keeping dry, clothes-wise, what are the essentials?
Clothes. Okay, a lot of people go for the poncho.
Classic.
And this is cheap and cheerful, of course, but at the end of the day, this is akin to a single-use plastic. They're not going to get reused, unfortunately, so I definitely recommend grabbing a proper waterproof jacket and waterproof trousers and bringing them to the festival with you.
Regardless of what the forecast says,
Regardless of what
there's
no such thing as an Irish forecast. There's no such thing as an Irish forecast. I don't care what they do.
Okay, that's fair enough, yeah.
Proper waterproof trousers, welly boots and a jacket are the only thing guaranteed to keep you dry for the weekend. I know people want to show off their outfits and wear a little see-through poncho so everyone can know that they made the effort, but staying dry and warm and comfortable is more important.
And then what if, because we do get, you know, a million seasons in a day, what if we do have a day where it's lashing rain, but we also have some beautiful sunny spells? Like, is there tips for keeping cool? Are there clothes you should wear for that?
Honest, like, It's what you'd normally wear. It's your beach day outfit, it's your festival outfit. That's what you're going to be wearing under your waterproofs. And it's always nice to have a backpack with you that you can throw your jacket in when you need it or pull it out later when you need it.
What are the other kind of handy hacks, like other little things you need to make the weekend just go that bit more comfortable?
So I've got my festival essentials on the table here. The most important thing I would say is probably this guy here, a head torch.
Okay.
Oh.
Everyone forgets a head torch.
Yeah,
it baffles me every time.
Is that for finding your tent at the
Finding your
end?
tent.
Oh,
Exactly.
I was going to say finding the bathroom in the middle of the night as well.
Whether it's finding the bathroom, whether it's finding your tent, whether it's finding your friends at night, you leave the main stage, you're having a great time, you wander into the darkness, and all of a sudden you're lost. The landmarks have changed. That big tent isn't where you thought it was. That flagpole isn't where you thought it was. And a head torch is brilliant for finding your way at night. So I really recommend. I have a little first aid kit. It doesn't have to be a full first aid kit, but this is what I use for my toiletries bag and my little emergency bits and pieces. This is my blister plasters. This has my Panadol, my Barocca, my remedy medications in the morning.
The note said earplugs and sleep mask are also part of your first aid kit, because that would be my #1 priority. Will I get any sleep at a
Absolutely.
festival?
People think they leave the main stage and the festival ends. No, the music follows you everywhere.
That's
If the
noisy.
tent beside you decides they want to keep going and you want to sleep, I definitely recommend not only the sleep system, but having your earplugs and your eye mask.
And you
like
recommend
it.
always having like a massive tankard of water in your tent at all times?
Absolutely. This is essential. And make sure it's a reusable water bottle.
Yeah.
So you can wake up in the morning, you can go to the water station, top it up, and you have this with you all weekend. Don't be buying plastic bottles. It's not needed.
Power bank and black sacks.
Black sacks. This is what's going to keep all your clothes dry for the weekend. What I do at the start of the weekend, I take one of these out and I put all my clothes into it and then put that into the bag. That means even if the bag gets saturated wet, everything stays dry on the inside. And they're brilliant to have around the campsite. If you've got empty cans, you've got empty trash,
you can pick up
you
after
keep it all
yourself.
together,
Yeah.
you leave no trace, and you take it all home.
So speaking of leaving no trace, some people tend to leave their tents behind them at festivals. What do you think of this?
It's my biggest gripe. I've talked about it a lot on my page, my channel. It's my single biggest gripe. A tent should last a lifetime, not just a weekend. I really encourage people to borrow tents for festivals as well. If you think you're not getting into camping, you maybe don't need to invest in a full tent. Save yourself some money. We all have friends who have been to festival before. We have brothers, we have sisters. Try to borrow a tent or a sleeping bag, a roll mat if you can. But if you are going to buy a tent, think about the summer trip you want to do next year, or the next festival, or the festival after that. Invest now in a decent tent that'll keep you dry and warm and have it for life.
What about if All Together Now goes amazing and you think this is it, I can take on camping sort of in the real world? How different is that from the festival experience? Like, are you kind of ready to take on the big bad world and the wildlife?
That's kind of where I started. Like, I started with very casual camping as a scout, as a kid. And if you have the stuff to keep you warm and dry at a festival, you have the stuff to keep you warm and dry on a mountain. I wouldn't exactly march straight from All Together Now to the top of a hill and pitch your tent, but there's a lot of easy ways to start camping.
What's like a
around
good
Ireland.
soft launch into camping then? Where would you recommend?
A kind of, not quite a glamping experience, but there are campsites located around Ireland. Around Ireland in Killarney, the national parks. There's a lot of campsites where you can pay €15. You set up your tent, you've got running water, you've got a shower, you've got a place to cook your food, and you can kind of ease into, oh, maybe I like this whole camping thing. And it gives you great access to the Irish outdoor. That's what I'm a huge proponent of. Access to the outdoors.
Is there a question about permission when you're wild camping, or can you camp anywhere you want?
So you do not have a right to roam in Ireland. You're not allowed wall camp everywhere. It's not permitted, but it's tolerated if you leave no trace, if you look after the land, if you respect who's around you, if you ask permission for the areas you're in, and generally it's as long as you respect the area, you'll be respected in return.
Amazing. Now, look, what a debut on Ireland AM.
Well done.
That was so interesting. For people who want to check you out online, what's your Instagram handle?
Nollaig Butler on Instagram and TikTok. I make videos about camping, exploring Ireland, and making the outdoors more accessible.
And he knows his stuff, guys.
He sure
really
does.
Nollaig Butler, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, after the break, racing season is in full swing and we are bringing you the best style from the Galway races.
See you back here in just a moment.